expanding and now accepting TV show proposals. Here's an opportunity to build celebrity status and become part of an elite group of community advocates that are focused on building, strengthening, and empowering our community in a positive way. Are you interested in embarking on a new adventure? TCN TV is searching for people interested in opportunities to change the conversation and pave an unforgettable legacy. If you feel you have something of value to offer, send a written show proposal to shows@mytcntv.com.
And we are back with The Gloves Are Off. I must apologize. We had to go off and we're back on. If you're watching on YouTube and Facebook right now, we have some software glitches and we're actually, as much as you can hear us, if you're watching us, we're kind of doing the robot thing. And come on, man. Do it. We got special guest Andrew E. Guy, who is an author. He is many things, but above everything, he's just awesome. And he's got an incredible story. Before we went to break, we were just getting into the great meat of things, the meat and potatoes. We were talking about how he decided he was going to go to the States from Canada, and you literally built a car to follow your dream.
Yes. The car basically, I think, was just even though it's a real experience, it's a metaphor. Sometimes you have to build the transportation to take you to where you need to go. Your dreams are so big that you can't rely on other people's transportation to take you, because sometimes their transportation is not built for you. Mm-hmm. And the terrains and the twists and turns that you're going to have to go through, you got to have your own transportation, so to speak, and that transportation begins inside that heart. I'll have to give this brainchild, I got to birth this brainchild, I got to push that baby out, and you got to make sure that your transportation is ready to take you where you need to go.
For sure.
But just to kind of recap really about, the dreams, I had to actually rebuild this car. I don't have any experience in building cars. I went to the library, just get books. I watched what the guy was doing. I said, if I can take it off, I can put it back on. Some things will take me a couple of hours. It took me at least 2.5 weeks to get this stuff done. And when the car was back in, total shape, and I started it, and I said, yes, we're ready to go. And then we got loaded up with all the food and stuff like that. We drove for 3 days.
So what was the thought process? Like, what was going through your mind when you were doing this? Because there's some determination that's there, right?
Do you hear what I'm saying, my brother? The thing that really kept me was the thing that my mom did, to go to bed, and I think I was about like between 4 and 6 years old, to go to bed, mom tuck you in, and then you get up and she's not there. There was no explanation whatsoever. This does something to a child. It does something to a child. And not only that, to end up in places or in another home, right, foster home, where you're not loved in the same manner that mom loved you, it does something to a child. When you're told you're nothing or you're not going to be anything, or forget, it's like saying, I have the present, forget the future. Mm-hmm. Don't even look towards the future. At the end of the day, we don't know what's going to happen, and we're letting you know you're not going to see the future, so to speak. You know what I mean? And then you get bought into this, like, wow, maybe they're right, because they're older, so they should know a little bit more than I do. And school wasn't an option, so to speak. You're weeding the yard, you're doing all these chores instead of going to school. And you got to the point where you're doing all these chores, and maybe I'm not supposed to be here, because they say you're not going to make it. Mm-hmm. You're not going to be anything. So you bought into this thing, and maybe I should just check out. And your opportunity is you up on that mountain toting wood, looking wood, and you look at the rock below, and the rock says jump, and you want to respond to the call. And then the voice of the Creator, he always comes in at that time when you need him most. It's not when you go into church talking about you sing your hallelujah song. He comes in when you're a Joseph in the pit. He comes in when you are Joseph in the jail. He comes in when, like Jesus on the cross. He comes in when the accident's about to happen, and he just put out his hand and said, no, not today. And he says, I got a plan. And you're looking at the plan in motion right now. And so got there, went to school, to Southern Arkansas University, got a choir scholarship, and finished my dual undergrad, and then went back to finish a master's, and then went off to start a doctorate in physical medicine. And we were talking about that because we alluded to the fact that most people kind of look on the outside, they look at the color of your skin, the black of the hand or the white of the palm, you know, and they miss the you in the man, the you man. You see what I'm saying? And kind of that's kind of where we kind of kicked off, because we realized there's more to a person than what it looks like on the outside. Because of all of this now, I know we're talking to about helping people to get their breakthrough. We have to realize that we have this oven experience, and the cake that we want to give to the world to give them a lasting taste, we have to go to the oven.
It's true.
We have to go to the oven and get baked at the right temperature, so all these ingredients can come together to make us the cake that we're going to serve to the world. The oven experience is what determines the goal or the taste or your message, so to speak.
And your struggles didn't stop.
It never stopped.
You're talking about baking.
That's right.
There was like when you went through university in Florida.
That's right.
You also had some struggles.
You know, sometimes you think you jump out of one oven and you think, that's it. Boom, you jump right into the fire. And I want to remind the viewers that the greater your dreams is, the greater the struggles are going to be. But that simply means you're getting closer and closer and closer and closer. And then, boom, one day, you're going to live to tell these stories. I got accepted into the University of Florida, and that's in St. Augustine. And it's a school that's, it's a PT school. It's a private college. Academics, they're well known for their academics. And the University of St. Augustine is really unique because it brings in only a certain amount of individuals per year. And you got to have your wits together, man. You got to have good grades. I just so happen to have good grades because of my master's studies and so forth and my work ethic. But I got into the program, and it's a doctorate from physical therapy. And I'm working on this program, and then, you know, the challenge came again. I didn't have any money. You know, I had more month at the end of the money. You know, I just didn't have it. And then I had a son at this time. And I couldn't take care of the family. I had to send the wife back home to stay with the mama, so I can really get grips of this thing that I'm trying to attain, to look at the dreams in a different angle. But I didn't have a place to live. And I started sleeping. By this time, I had a different car. It was a 1991 Acura GTS, black on black again, two-door. Don't ask me. That's just my favorite color car. And I slept in the car for months. You know, I even went to the church and asked for a place to stay. And one preacher looked at me and he said, all I had was $300 in my name. That was it. That was it. I had to buy sardines and crackers. That was dinner, lunch, and breakfast, you know, and then whatever was left was trying to get a room. I remember the guy looked at me, was cutting his lawn. He looked at me and said, if you can find a place for that, good luck. Put back on his glasses and then continue cutting the lawn. And he just turned his back. And so at this time you realize, okay, fine, if you really want your dreams, you cannot worry about what other people are saying or what they're doing and what they say you're not going to be. The dream got to be so hot. It's got to be so permeated through your skin that, you know what, do or die, I've got to get this. And you have this prove them wrong mentality. You know what I'm saying? It keeps you alive. Sometimes it keeps you awake at night because you can't sleep with this thing. And I'm sleeping in this car for months. And if you know anything about the sunshine state, it is called the sunshine state for a reason, my brother. All right? You don't have to do much to get a tan up in here. You see what I mean? You may go and get a tan. I had like a 12, 15. You see what I'm saying? So a 10 sounds like you're saying a 10, but I had like a 95 up in there. And I'm sleeping in this car, and it was hot, you know, tossing and turning, and month after month I was sleeping in there. But one of the great things that happened to me was that, you know, I was involved in the cadaver lab. So part of our training was we had to dissect the body, and we get to study the tissues and muscles and so forth. And I remember being in the lab, and I was talking to the Lord. I said, you made this thing, yeah? you made this, right? This is just amazing. How do you make all of this here, right? And I'm thinking about my struggles, and I'm helping other doctorate students to get ready for their exams, and I'm still thinking about where I'm going to sleep tonight, because I know that when they leave the lab, they just press a button before they leave the school and the car starts and say, I'm ready. You know what I'm saying? And more affluent people come to that particular school. But anyway, long story short is that I'm in the lab and I'm working on this body, and I cut from sternum to pubis, you know what I mean? And then boom, retract. And then when you look inside, you see all these different organs. And then that's when it dawned on me that I can't be sorry for myself because I'm black. I can't just play the race card and say, well, you know, all this is happening because it's because I'm black. It really has, sometimes it has nothing to do with your color. Your struggle has to do with the size of your dream, man. Your struggle has to do with the size of your dream. I think of Martin Luther King. It's not because he was black, it's because of the dream that he had.
For sure.
I look at Nelson Mandela. It's not because he was black, it's because of the dream that he had, the brainchild that he had to give birth to. The bigger your brainchild, the bigger the struggle, the tougher the struggle, the higher the mountain. And when you get on top, you're supposed to bring somebody else up. But it went on for a little while, and then, you know, I realized that I couldn't continue. I guess the security kind of blew my cover because I was actually inside the parking lot, and I realized all the cars were leaving. You know,
this one's not leaving.
Yeah, of course. You know, I went there. You know, everyone was saying, "Yeah, let's go, man, let's go. School is over. So where are you going this weekend?" "Yeah, I'm going down to the beach." "Yeah, sure, right." You know, and everyone jumped in their car, and everyone says bye. You know, we're in the parking lot, and I'm like, "All right, man, I'll see you, man. Take care, Drew." All right. Everyone just left the dust with me in the parking, the whole lot. You know. And then, you know, I wait till it get cool down in the night, wind down the windows, and I went to my one apartment, and I just slept there.
And you said for a short period of time. A short period of time is...
We're talking about about 6 months, man. You know? And it's long. 6 months can be very, very long. And after that, you know, I had to kind of stop the program and get a job so I can take care of my family. Because as a man, you're called to be a father. You're called to be a leader. You can't just expect that because, you know, something is wrong with your glass and it's, you know, it looks half empty but it's half full, because one day it's going to overflow. You still have responsibilities. So I went into teaching. And then after I got into teaching, it really hit me again. Because then I saw kids. I went to Northeast Jacksonville, Florida, and I was teaching kids who mamas got shot, daddy was in jail, and so they were being taken care of by the neighborhood. And I'm like, wow. They were excited when they came to my class because I used my story to explain to them. They said, "Mr. Guy, I don't think I'm going to make it. I don't think this person don't like me. This person..." And some of them would carry weapons to school. And I'm not trying to blow anyone's cover, but sometimes they will look at me and I'll look at them. When they give me the look, that means, "Mr. Guy, I have something." The reason why I have something is because somebody's waiting on me after school. And then I will walk them outside of the schoolyard to make sure that they get where they're supposed to go. Because if they walk out by themselves, sometimes they won't make it home alive. And they come to my class, and sometimes I'm supposed to have 22 students in my class. Sometimes I have 45 in my class. Why? Because I read to them, I empower them, I let them know that I almost jumped. I wanted to jump. I'm not, you lucky you don't have mountains around here. But I was this close to not being here. And if I had jumped, I wouldn't be here right now. I'm going to use this moment to empower you, to let you know greater days are coming. Change is coming. You just got to hang in there. Your dream is bigger than the mountain that you're standing on waiting to jump off of. I use that to encourage them. You know, that year, I think it was my last year, they studied for this test called the FCAT. It's the Florida Comprehensive Test that they do, national test. And students from my class got a perfect on the science portion of the test, which have never been done in the history of that school. They were still emailing me to say, "Listen, thank you. I'm now in college. I'm now in university. And because of what you said to me, I don't know how to thank you. I don't know how to say thank you. But thank you for what it's worth. Thank you for using your story to empower me."
Wow.
And so, how'd I jump? the books wouldn't be here. The many that are coming wouldn't be here. And the people that I've managed to touch wouldn't be touched.
So I guess it would be safe to say then that when you were at that point in life where you were actually going to do the jump,
Yes.
and that voice came to you,
Yes.
and it's like you got a bigger purpose.
Yes.
That's when your breakthrough really happened.
That's correct.
And that's when your journey began.
That's correct.
And because of that, I guess you looked at it, if I can get through this, I can get through anything.
I said that also, but I always use what my mom, went through. Obviously, I didn't know that at that particular time
Yeah,
that she was going to
yeah.
come back. And I realized that your future is determined by one decision. One decision. You can quit or you can keep going, even if you don't know what the outcome is going to be. The future is determined by one decision. One decision. Not many decisions. One. To quit or to keep going. But you have to be determined to face everything that comes when you decided to keep going.
Wow. Make sure you keep tuned in. We'll be right back.
Think you have what it takes to bring value to the community? The TCN TV network is expanding and now accepting TV show proposals. Here's an opportunity to build celebrity status and become part of an elite group of community advocates that are focused on building, strengthening, and empowering our community in a positive way. Are you interested in embarking on a new adventure? TCN TV is searching for people interested in opportunities to change the conversation and pave an unforgettable legacy. If you feel you have something of value to offer, send a written show proposal to shows@mytcntv.com.
And we're back with The Gloves Are Off. We have an amazing guest here who's just been sharing his story of all his struggles, of what made him who he is today. He's gone through almost suicide, losing his mother, living in foster homes in Jamaica. Wow, we have a caller. Hi, you're live. Hello? Anybody there?
You're on the air.
Are they gone? Okay.
They'll call back.
They'll call back. So we have Andrew E. Guy, who has gone through amazing struggles.
That's right.
Struggles, and you had your first breakthrough.
That's right.
When you were young, and then from there, I mean, the struggles just kept going and going and going.
That's correct.
To the point it made you who you are today.
That's correct.
That's amazing.
That's correct. I believe everyone goes through the struggles, and I used to call myself a diamond in the rough, and the rough basically is the pressures of life that comes to harden you, to make you the diamond you are supposed to be.
If you choose to.
And that comes with a choice. You have to choose and say, you know what, I'm going to go forward. If you decide to go forward, anything that's supposed to hinder you, it solidifies what's in you, and it also tests to see if what you're going after, how bad do you want it? It's asking you that question. Oh, really? So you say you want to do this, let's see how bad you want it.
Agreed,
the struggles
agreed.
are just asking you question. Really? You say you want it? Okay, let's see how bad.
So, for our viewers
Yes.
who go through situations like any entrepreneur,
Right.
what you have gone through,
Right.
what type of advice would you offer them? Because, I mean, a lot of times we focus on the now, we focus on the immediate situation we're going
Right.
through.
I think the best way to say it, like Maestro Fresh West once said, stick to your vision.
they're gonna say let your backbone
Yeah,
slide.
yeah, but your backbone will slide based on the terrains that you have to go through.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
regardless of which way your backbone is sliding, because that's a biological term, because your vertebral column, they slide back and forth based on
okay.
the right on top of the inner disc that goes between it, like a sandwich. It does slide. But he said, stick to your vision. That whatever you're going through, always keep that vision in front of you. It keeps you alive. And your passion is, how bad do you want it? You see the vision, but how bad do you want it? It allows you to go through whatever life throws at you.
And the thing is too is that when you get your vision, that's when life starts to test you.
That's exactly, because then after the vision comes before the mission. The vision is the what. The mission is how.
And the struggles that you're going through only means that you have a greater purpose.
That's exactly right, man. All of these things is to let you know that the vision and the mission that you have is bigger than you. It's bigger than you. So the pain you're feeling, that's why it hurts so much, because these things are bigger than you. And when you give birth to it, you're going to change the world. If you're just trying to change your neighborhood, don't get up.
Wow. So all the struggles
Yeah.
and the breakthroughs that you had from it, and the learning that you got from the lessons in,
Right.
in life so far, how did that shape your business today and what you do?
Well, my business really, it has many stems and many branches of it. One part of it has to deal with wellness, and that's just from my exercise science perspective background. So then I would probably go into companies and say, listen, how can we reduce, injuries? How can we improve productivity? Let's deal with this machine, because every worker is an industrial machine, right? An industrial athlete, so to speak. So we need to make sure the oil keeps, is smooth, is running smooth. We deal with stretching, we deal with breathing exercises, we deal with mental capacity, we deal with empowerment, encouragement. So that's the wellness perspective of it, right? When we talk about leadership and personal development, I go into companies, I deal with sales groups, I deal with leadership, executive leadership groups. And I say, okay, fine. How can we get the most out of your workforce? And the most important thing for leaders to understand is simply this: you are dealing with a community. How do we look at the community that you have, whether it's 500 employees or 1,000 or whatever? How do you deal with the community and get the best out of that community? And the most important step for you to understand is that what you have is a bunch of gifts. It's an assembly of gifts, of different talents in your company. You need to assess the gifts to find out what you have, because if you don't know what's in your inventory, well, you'll go and buy something that you already have. You'll go hire somebody, another videographer, who you already have the greatest with you right now. You understand?
You hear that, Chelsea?
Behind the camera right there. Just plug for her. So you need to do an assessment to find out what is it that you have in your company. And after you do that, then you have to find out how can you match them up to make sure they're collaborating to get the best effort, the best output from those individuals. And that's when you make sure that the power of community is active in your company.
So why don't we back up for a second there,
Yeah.
just so our viewers understand the idea of community and culture in a business.
That's correct.
A lot of people don't realize that they actually have that within their business, and even if you're a business of one, you still have a community or a
do.
culture that happens. Now,
That's
why don't
right.
you explain it a little bit?
Well, the culture is how you do things.
Yeah.
And then not only how, but basically it determines why you do something. And the bottom line, the actual foundation of that is value. What value are you giving to your customers? But there was one great slogan, and it's so powerful. It's by Dufasco, and it says that, our strength is people, but our product, it said our product is people, but our strength is steel. If I messed it up, Dufasco, I'll straighten it out. It said that our strength is people and our product is steel. At the end of the day, it's the people that are the strongest that makes the product.
Yes.
And so what we need to do to understand the culture is to understand the differences between those individuals and find out what their gifts are and put them together and see how it can best create that value in whatever you produce. Let's say, for example, you're producing information, you are producing textile, you're producing lumber, whatever you are producing, whatever your output is, the final product is. What culture are you creating in that environment? Because you're actually creating that environment. If you're scheduled to come into work and you don't feel like coming to work because you don't feel like your input is valued, if you don't feel like you're part of the team, if you don't feel like when you come in you make a suggestion and it's taken seriously, then you're not going to want to be there. Or if you're devalued, if you come to work and then they treat you like trash, you're not going to want to show up. And the last part of it is you don't feel camaraderie there.
Yes.
When you create that atmosphere, you're saying basically that anything that comes in my company is going to grow because this is the right environment that we are creating. A person that comes into your business or to your workforce is not just a person, it's a seed. And when they're sown into your environment, they're going to grow, and the product that you create is going to change the world.
Now, would that be the responsibility of just the business owner, or would it be the responsibility of everybody in the company?
My friend, like the book says, there is power in community, right? The power has to do with the leadership having to direct based on the vision that they have for the company. The mission is just assembling the right team that's going to get it done. Okay, the team wants to win. Let's say, take a sports team. They want to win the Grey Cup, or they want to win the let's say, for example, the NBA championship. That's the end product. How are we going to get there? We have to assemble the right team, make the drafts possible, and put the right team, assemble, and say, okay, fine, this is our system. Put a system in place for the actual people or the participants to actually follow. Tweak that every so often, because you got to make sure that whatever you're doing is you can make adjustment. After you make the adjustment to make sure your team is on the right track, you come back. If it's working, you rinse and repeat. If it's not working, you adjust, reflect, and remaster and come again. And that's the goal, making sure that your team is on the right track by actually making sure the values that you instill in them is what's going to be a reflection of your product.
So essentially, you kind of figure out what the end game is.
That's exactly right.
And reverse engineer it with the community, the team.
That's right.
And put it together.
That's right. It's most business don't understand that they're dealing with a community, and the community is not something that's static. It's basically an organism. It's alive. Bob is not a thing. He's not just a social security number. He doesn't just clock in. He's a person. He needs to be valued. He needs to be wowed. He needs to feel like he belongs. He needs to have a pat on the shoulder. It just needs to be treated like the you in the man, the you man. And if you value people, this community will flourish and your business will flourish. People want to work with you and for you for as long as there's breath in their body.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
Andrew, why should someone do business with you?
People should do business with me because I help them discover the community within their business. And I believe that most companies are out there and they look at the individual as just an employee, let alone a number. When I come into your business, I want to do an assessment. I want to find out, okay, fine, do you know where Bob is from? Do you know where Bill is from? Do you know his background? Do you know how many kids he have? What does he do when he finish working? What does he do for leisure? What I'm trying to assess is, do you know what you have? Do you know your inventory? So I'm going to ask you those questions. And the more you know about your employees, or I wouldn't call them employees anymore, scratch that, partners. Because these are your partners. They help you make the ship float. So I come in and I do an assessment. I said, okay, fine, what is it that you want to do? And who is going to help you get there? So when you do business with me, I help you to understand more of the community that you have, and if it needs to be tweaked to create the right environment so your community can flourish. So therefore, the bottom line can be moved up, increase productivity. That's what I come in and that's what I do.
Now, when you say assessment too, do you come in and you assess each individual in the company, or do you assess the management, or do you assess just the business itself?
It starts with leadership. So I'll meet with leadership. And I said, okay, fine, I want to find out what their vision is first, right? Once I find out what their vision is, I said, okay, fine, then how are you going to get there? What team do you have assembled? So if I need to meet with the team themselves, then we'll call in the team. We'll have a quick meeting. Just say, okay, guys, how long have you been working here? What's the greatest thing about working here? Why do you clock in the morning? Why do you even get up in the morning to come here? What's so special about this place? What I'm trying to do is to get a feeling of the environment, because you will not always get that from leadership.
For sure.
You get that from the people who are on the floor.
For sure.
From then on, then what I will do, I'll go back to management and say, okay, fine, we need to create a program. This is what needs to be changed. This is what needs to be adjusted. And then we'll come and we'll do a workshop. A workshop could entail me coming in and do a half a day. I could do a full day. And then I'll go into leadership. I'll go into productivity. I'll go into mindset. I'll go into how people feel in your company. Do we even have a community? And if we don't have a community, then we need to make sure we can create one.
Wow. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to find a little bit more what Andrew does, his services, what he has to offer, and of course talk a little bit about how you can get his books and follow him as well. We'll be right back.
Discover the incredible India.
Think you have what it takes to bring value to the community? The TCN TV network is expanding and now accepting TV show proposals. Here's an opportunity to build celebrity status and become part of an elite group of community advocates that are focused on building, strengthening, and empowering our community in a positive way. Are you interested in embarking on a new adventure? TCN TV is searching for people interested in opportunities to change the conversation and pave an unforgettable legacy. If you feel you have something of value to offer, send a written show proposal to shows@mytcntv.com.
Welcome back, and if you're just tuning in, you are tuned into The Gloves Are Off with myself, Grant Browning, and we have special guest, amazing guest, Mr. Andrew E. Guy, who is author, business coach. He's a performance coach. We were just going through some of the services. Andrew, I wanted to ask you quickly, how could you help me with your services?
The first thing I would do is to find out what is the vision. It all starts with a vision. You know, the Bible said without a vision, the people perish. And not just the people, companies perish without a vision. We would want to find out what is the vision. We'll come up with a mission statement if there isn't one. And then after we get that, we find out what is the environment that you want to make sure this mission gets accomplished in and this visions get visualized in. And that's basically the incubator. It said, where are we going to plant this thing? Because basically you're taking it from your brain and you're going to plant it. So we want to make sure that the environment is right. How do we assess the environment? We come in, we look at community. How do people get along at the workplace? You know, what kind of environment are you creating for them? Because you will be a product of your environment. And whatever product you create, it is a product of that environment that you have already set, you know. And so I would come in and then we'll do a quick assessment, really. I'll start with a leadership team, find out, okay, fine. What are the things that you want to get done? Do you have a plan set up? Do you have goals in mind, long-term and short-term goals? And I said, okay, if I'm based on those goals, then we curtail a workshop. I will come in, I might do a workshop. It could be a half a day, it could be a full day, and it could be just a series of workshops over a period of time that I come in to work on the things that you need to get done to get your vision and mission out so you can get the product out.
Now, for the viewers that are watching that are business owners who potentially could use your service, one of the questions that may arise is, what about the resistance that may happen within the company itself? And a lot of times business owners get into that rut of, you know, I need these employees, and if you come in and you offend them and they leave, I'm screwed.
Then what you have is stale and stagnated inventory.
I know this, but
right. And I would say that the reason is because if you have resistance, there's always going to be resistance to change. We are a product of the environment, and one of the environment that we are that is so ingrained in us is that don't change anything. I'm comfortable. We like comfort, but death reside in comfort.
Yes.
You know, we are a people of motion, basically, as my next book that's coming up called The Kingdom in Motion. We are moving people. You know, if we're not moving, if the water stays still, it remains stagnant and things get, whatever is in there die. So the thing is that you will have resistance for people who don't have a vision. They just want things the way they are. They're not open to change. And if you're not open to change, then you need to find out and reassess what employees you have. Because if they don't want to change while everything else is changing, then these are the ones that's affecting the growth of your business. So you need to say, whoa, you need to find out what are their goals. And if their goal is not to move forward, then you have to say, thank you very much for your time. It's been a slice. It's been pepperoni and pineapple, my favorite pizza. And I'm going to take a slice and you have to go. And sometimes you have to make those hard decisions where you have to say, you know what, thank you for everything. But, you know, we can't go together. You know, it's biblical. It said, how can two go forward if they don't agree? Then what you have basically is dissension. They're not agreeing with your vision. You may need help to get the vision forward, but if you have disagreement, then how can a kingdom stand if there's division in it? So most of the time you have resistance because people don't see your vision. And one of the main reasons is because management do such a poor job at letting the vision or making the vision clear or clarifying the vision. Hey guys, this is where we're going this year. We've had these challenges, and it has to do with the meetings that you have every month. Are you bringing them up to par? Are you letting them know? Are you informing them? This is where we are. Do they feel like part of the community again? Do you even have a community? Because if you have a community, you talk to your community. You said, hey, these guys are streaming in live right now. They know that we're on live. We have a community. We have communication. That's what makes community work, because we have communication. And you talk to your tribe. You know, your community is now your tribe. You say, hey guys, we want to do this. This is our vision. This is what we want to do. Inputs should be welcome, because the inputs basically like a sharpener. It helps to sharpen the decision that you have to make sure everyone is on one accord. Some people will get offended, because if you're not offended, if you don't offend somebody, you have a problem. Then you're trying to please everyone. And if you try to please everyone, you will please no one, including yourself.
It's true. Very, very true. What would the audience benefit the most from our conversation today?
The audience will first benefit to know that everyone has a dream inside of them. Everyone has a brainchild. And even though we're male, we give birth to. Okay, ladies, we give birth to. And
the phones light up.
That's right. We give birth to. We all have a brainchild, and our goal in life is to give birth to that child. And you will go through struggles. Sometimes your struggle will say jump, but there's going to be a voice that put the dream inside of you that said, no, hold on. Don't jump. Just wait a little bit longer. The dream will come to fruition. And the dream is not just for you. And selfishly, some of us have jumped before, and the world don't get it. But if we decided not to jump, we can change the world.
Wow. That's powerful. So if you guys are just tuning in, we're just kind of recapping, finishing up here. We are sitting with Andrew E. Guy, who is an author. He's also a coach. He's also a performance trainer. When I say performance, business performance.
That's right.
Some of the things that we went through was actually discovering the community within your business, building community, building the vision and the team, and of course, finding your personal breakthrough. His services are amazing. How can people get a hold of you for your services?
They can find me at my website, and it's andrewguyspeaks.com. ANDREWGUY speaks with an S.com.
Okay, is there a phone number that people can get a hold of?
Phone number 647-766-9585, or my email info, which is info@andrewguyspeaks.com. Or you can get the books.
Yes. So well, before we get to that, so for the business owner, it might be, somewhere all through the Greater Toronto area or even in the outskirts. Do you offer services for that as well?
Yes, and if I need to travel to the United States, I don't believe that I am just glued down to one area. Wherever the help is needed, I'm global mind thinker.
Okay.
The world is my platform, not just one person.
Awesome. And why don't we just quickly touch on your books that you have right here?
Yes. We talk about the words that we say to ourselves. The first one basically came about because of my experience with these youth in Jacksonville, Florida, and we talk about work your words. What words are you working to yourself every day? If you're saying you're a no good, and based on the words that you hear from people that said you're not going to make it, you know what? It doesn't matter what people say about you. It's what you say to yourself. It's what you say to yourself that makes the difference, because we call those naysayers. You can let them say whatever they have to say, because I learned a long time ago that people are going to say something, whether you do something or whether you decide not to do anything. They're always going to say something. It's the words that you say to yourself that makes the difference. And when you say the right words, good things don't happen. Better things don't happen. The best things don't happen. Right things happen. So you have to work the words to find your pathway to personal success. It's your self-programming that matters, not what people say sometimes.
So where can people go to get your books?
They can get it at my website at andrewguyspeaks.com. They're on Amazon, they're on Barnes & Noble, and they will be coming to a Toronto bookstore near you.
Nice. Okay, so guys, please go out and get his books. They will help you, your business, your personal life, your spiritual life as well.
That's correct.
And please, I encourage you, please follow Andrew. Instagram,
Andrew Guy Speaks. Twitter, Andrew Guy Speaks. And I'm on Facebook at Andrew Guy Speaks. Or just go to my website, andrewguyspeaks.com, and click on the follow. And we're working on the social media aspects of everything.
So where is the best avenue platform for people to get the Daily Andrew Guy?
The Daily Andrew Guy, Twitter.
Twitter?
I'm a Twitter person.
All right.
So I will tweet frequently.
So guys, please make sure you follow Andrew on Twitter.
Yes.
I want to thank everybody. Thank you, Andrew. It's been
welcome.
amazing. This concludes another episode of The Gloves Are Off. Thank you so much. I hope you guys have found value in this. Please do like, subscribe to our channel, comment if you have any questions. We'll be sure to get them answered. Be sure to tune in next week for another episode of The Gloves Are Off right here on TCN Network.